What is good, my pack? M.V.K here, back again for the pack on YouTube as well as the Uber Pack members on Patreon. And I am here, guys, once again to deliver something swell for you guys. So, guys, once again, we're here because this is dedicated to one of my patrons, Jimmy Gibson. Once again, I am now starting his second round of question video requests. As always, for anybody who wants to become, who wants to become a patron, link in the description down below. There are different tiers. Check it out. You may like something. In the meantime, always thank you, Jimmy, for your patron as well. And I'm here to deliver his next. So I looked at his 4 video requests and I said, you know what? Let me start kind of with the list, the top 10 lists first. And here I am to deliver the first one. So, in honor, as he said, in honor of the release of Black Adam, which I have not seen yet, but unfortunately, the mid-credit was spoiled to shit, so I know what happened. Congratulations, Henry Cavill. Welcome back as Superman. I missed you, but Warner Brothers, don't do the man dirty again. I'm gonna just put it like that. Anyway, because of Black Adam, he wanted me, this alpha, to know who are my top 10 favorite anti-heroes in comic book history. This was a tough list because I don't mind a good anti-hero, you know, that's why I'm kind of decked out on black today. No, no, I just like the color black, no. But anyway, yes. Who is my favorite anti-heroes? So I really had to do a list of this, and I really had to think about it. And the first thing I looked at, I was like, okay, who are the characters? Who are these characters that I love? What characters do I love the most? And I had to break it down. Not a top 20, no, it was a top 10. So, it may be a little surprising, but remember, it's my list. Jimmy wanted my list. Respect my list, and I will respect yours. Let's get started. Number 1, as you saw on the list, guys, goes to the man himself, Mr. Frank Castelloni, aka Frank Castle, Punisher. There's not much I need to say about Frank. I mean, this is the true embodiment of anti-hero. This is a man who walks a path that he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. We all know the story. Former Marine taking his family out for a picnic, caught between the crossfires of mafiosi. Yeah, it was mafia gang warfare. His wife Maria and kids were killed. From there, it was a war on crime. And a lot of the other Marvel heroes in the Marvel Universe did not really like that. You can name many of them. They didn't really approve of them. And there are some that don't really mind. But Frank is who he is. Currently, right now, he is the leader of the Hand. I do recommend to go read that book. That book is really good. I'm a little behind on it, but it is good. But Frank Castle makes number 1 on the list. Put some respect on him. When you see that skull, I mean, now he's wearing something else because of what he is, but when you see that skull, you knew shit was going down. Frank don't take shit from nobody. You know that. Respect that. Punisher. Number 2 on the list, of course, goes to the best there is at what he does, and what he does isn't pretty. Wolverine. Logan, James Howlett, whatever name you want to know, born in the late 19th century up in Canada. He was a little sickly boy when he was. It's funny to see now that he's not, because in the beginning he was very sickly. Wolverine was very sickly and skinny and frail. And now he pretty much can heal from any mortal wound. His healing factor has now been on a god mode as of late, because back in the day it took him a couple of days to truly heal. But Logan has been one of those characters that I've truly loved. He's a walking Ronin. He is a Ronin. And he's a guy that he's another one that doesn't take a lot of crap from nobody. And he's got a dark past. And when you see what life has dealt this man, there are times you wonder why he didn't truly jump to the dark side. There's always truth to that. But though he has a dark past, the man has found home and family amongst the X-Men, even found home and family amongst his kids, like Laura, who's also known as Wolverine. But he's found a place, but he don't get it twisted. The man will still rip your throat out if he needs to. And he still proves it to this day. Wolverine. Number 3 on the list may surprise a lot of people, but yeah, I felt like he is sometimes. The Hulk. The Incredible Hulk. The Immortal Hulk. The Unstoppable Hulk. The Rampaging Hulk. Whatever names you want to call him. The World Breaker. Hulk is technically kind of classified as a hero and anti-hero. There are many times where when he is Bruce Banner alter ego becomes the rampaging unstoppable force, it does take sometimes the heroes of Marvel to kind of stop him or try to stop him. You know, there are times where he'll rampage to a city and is demolished, but there are times nobody gets hurt. But still, he technically sometimes is. We all know the story. When Hulk gets mad, he gets strongest. He is the strongest there is. This guy has gone toe-to-toe with the likes of Thor and Silver Surfer. Hell, even this century. You know, but he's also a founding member. And there are many of people in the Marvel Universe that will tell people he's a hero. He's a hero too, but people just see the monster. But heroes like Rick Jones, Amadeus Cho, his cousins, you know, his ex-wife, you know, they all see deeper than what people portray him as, just the Jade Goliath, as he's called. The Hulk is still one of the greatest characters ever in Marvel, and he's one of those characters that came out in the 60s and people loved it. You know, he truly is. So put respect on Hulk's name, but yes, he technically sometimes is an anti-hero. I had to be real and be like, well, he kind of is. You know, look at what the Illuminati did to him. You know, they felt, oh, he should be shot off into space. But when I looked at a lot of the people that were on the Illuminati, I'm like, how come you ain't putting Namor up in that shit? Huh? Why you ain't putting him up in there? Just saying. The Hulk. Number 4 on the list comes from the world of Image. Probably one of the most popular and most recognizable indie characters. Spawn. Al Simmons. Spawn. Yes. Spawn is no hero. And he'd be the first one to tell you that. He is no hero. The man, even before he became Hellspawn, Al Simmons did a lot of dirty, wet work for the government. He was a government assassin. Don't get no grittier than that. When he accepted the role as Hellspawn from Mel Boja, it was more of a selfish act of why he accepted it. But over time, Spawn had just become more powerful and more powerful. He's been to heaven, he's been to hell, and they both are scared of him. And hell, there was even one time he became so powerful, he became Omega Spawn, excuse me. And it was the entire Image universe of heroes coming together to try to stop him. He's even killed one of the Shadowhawks, Chris Collins, the young Chris Collins. You know, and currently he rules. It's like he's not necessarily a good guy. He will make that perfectly clear. Todd McFarlane, his creator, will even tell you that. But the character is truly immortalized because he is one of the greatest independent characters in comics. There aren't a lot of independent characters that were selling like he was. Gotta give him credit. But Spawn makes my list number 4. Number 5 on the list goes to Moon Knight. Mark Spector, Jack Crawley, all the different names you want to use. Jake Crawley. There's just so many. The guy, he got issues up there. We all know that. Mr. Knight, whatever. But yes, there are times, again, this was another character that started out as a villain in some cases. We first saw him in Werewolf by Night. And in that, he kind of was portrayed as a villain. Over time, when we got to see Mark and Moon Knight and Khonshu and everything like that, okay, we started to see he's kind of a hero, but he is an avatar to the moon and the Egyptian god of the moon and vengeance. And he is to dish out vengeance for his god. And over time, we've seen Mark fight that through time, and there have been times where he doesn't, and there have been times when Khonshu is taken over, and there are just so many, hell, Jason Aaron's just did a whole run on him where we saw Mark literally flipping out and taking on the Avengers, people that he's worked with. It was even to a point where Khonshu it was Khonshu and him, he stopped Mjolnir. Nearly destroyed it. But the point is, Mark, and it took the Avengers to stop it. Now Khonshu is locked up in Asgard because of his crimes, while the Avengers are allowing Moon Knight to repent for his crimes of that. Read the current Moon Knight book. Great. You'll see. But yeah, Moon Knight technically is an anti-hero. There are times he can cross the line or go over to that side of viciousness instead of pulling back. Sometimes he does. So Moon Knight makes the list. Number 5, Mark Spector. Speaking of, and number 6 on the list, speaking of which, brings us to Black Adam. Teth Adam is on the list. Teth Adam is in the beginning, Teth was looked at as just the villain. But later on in the 21st century, writers have made him out to be more of an anti-hero. Hell, he's even been on the Justice League. But he's been a part of the Justice Society too. The point is, he was the choice for the Wizard Shazam before Billy Batson. And the Wizard Shazam saw, I made the wrong choice with this guy. I gave him this power. I made the wrong choice. What happened? We know what happened. Billy took over. Teth comes back, and it's almost like night and day between them. But yeah, Teth Adam could be that. You don't want to be on his bad side. You kind of, even if you are an ally, you kind of want to keep him at arm's length. Don't want him getting too close to you. Hell, anybody remembers the story World War III? It was basically Black Adam versus the DC universe. And boy, go read that story if you don't know what I'm talking about. Hell, it nearly took 5 Kryptonians to stop this dude because he was just going on a rampage because of his wife Isis was killed. You understand it, but yeah. The leader of Kahndaq, the ruler of Kahndaq, Black Adam, Teth Adam, you name it. Badass. Number 7 on the list we go to is Elektra. Elektra Nachos. Miss Nachos is the tormented assassin in the Marvel Universe, or we now can call her Mrs. Murdock, because her and Matt Murdock have gotten married. They are married now in their war against the Hand. She is also called Daredevil too, but Elektra has always been that character that has flowed between right and wrong, or walked that path of being, she's considered the greatest assassin in the Marvel Universe. and she has gone up against heroes and villains and you name it alike. I mean, one of my favorite fights between her was between her and Iron Fist in Defenders. That was a badass fight. Just the whole concept was no talking. All the panels just martial art goodness. Somebody like who I love. But there are times you see her, she doesn't really let down her guard of showing her vulnerability. But somehow Matt can do that, and she will break it down sometimes. But it's almost like you get a piece, and quickly, boom, those walls go back up. Very tortured, but truly, truly one of those characters that you look at and you're like, you make sure you keep her at arm's length. You want her as an ally, you don't want her as a villain. You don't want her as an enemy. Elektra makes the list. Number 7. Number 8 on the list goes to Bane. Now, I know some people are probably saying, whoa, Chris, Bane is a villain. He's a true villain. Well, not so much, because thanks to my friend Gail, she gave him more character. She made that character more interesting, especially her Secret 6 run. There you got to see Bane is more than just the guy who broke the bat, as he always says. No, there's more to him. But truly still, I mean, at that point, Gail had said he's done taking the venom because he was already a big guy. You know, he's done, we saw him acting more clearly, basically him saying that the venom was toxic to him. Now DC has really just brought him back to being the villain. But to me, I always looked at Bane as more of an anti-hero. You know, I never kind of understood, in a sense, when I first read it, you know, Nightfall, like, okay, why is he really doing this? What is he trying to prove? You know, if you really wanted to, it's still to this day, I will always, as much as I love Bane, I always say, like, look, dude, you put Batman through all this. You didn't fight Bruce straight up. You didn't fight him straight up. You didn't fight him when he's at 100%. You had to tire him out, then come in and fight him. You still will get the blame of you broke the bat, but you didn't really break him because man came back with no kind of PTSD of people hurting his back or anything like that. There's never been anybody that wrote that. And I've always found that weird because I've been told when you break your back, you're never the same. You're always cautious about certain things. Bruce has never felt that way. But Bane does make the list. I'm just saying. Think about it, guys. Come on. Bane didn't fight Bruce head up 100%. He had to cheat, in a sense. Have Bruce going all around looking, and then all of a sudden when he's half tired, weak, then you come in. That's cheap. But let that sink in for a minute. Number 9 on the list goes to Harley and Ivy. 2 ladies on the list. The couple is, to me, makes the list. I know there's a lot of people I know somebody that is very tired of Harley. And I can understand anybody's tiring of Harley, you know, her overexposure and things like that. But Harley is no true hero. Sure, we see alternate universes where Harley is kind of portrayed, where she gets a second chance. You know, the Injustice universe comes to mind, you know, and the same thing with Poison Ivy at times. You know, in the back later on in the years, I never looked at Poison Ivy, Pamela, as a true villain, because there have been many times she has shown she does have a heart. She does. I remember one of my biggest prime example of this is one of my favorite Batman stories, No Man's Land. Sorry, No Man's Land. No Man's Land, where basically Ivy protected the children of Gotham in the park. Nobody was able to come into the Gotham Park outside of children. She would watch over them just to make sure none of the kids got hurt. A villain wouldn't do that. But if they came in, oh yeah, she go ham on them. There have been many showcases that Harley does walk that path of both sides. Same thing with Ivy. Once Harley got away from the Joker, she became more of a better character. You got to see that she's more than just the Joker's main squeeze. Nah, she's more than that. And that's something I do like and I appreciate that DC did. These two ladies walk that path, walk that line. You know, they can go to the East Bank, and they can be on the side of good. They can go to the West Bank, and they can be on the side of the darkness for a while. Or they could be right in the middle, plain and simple. Harley and Ivy make my number 9. And number 10 on the list. Number 10 goes to the main man, Lobo. Yes, guys, the main man. The last Zarnian. Well, technically he's not now because he has a daughter. So, but Lobo, the main man himself. This guy, you talk about a guy that heaven nor hell wants. So what did they do? Gave him immortality and stuck him on Earth like, yeah, he's our problem now. This is the guy who, yes, can go toe-to-toe with the likes of Superman and live to tell about it. The main man himself, the bounty hunter, if you want to, because he is a bounty hunter. Lobo has always been an anti-hero. He's always been that. You know, he's always been, you know, some people say he is DC's basically answer to Wolverine. And I guess that's the reason why they put them together when they fought. Wolverine versus Lobo. But not a lot of people know about Lobo, so Wolverine won. You know, and don't get me started on the Marvel versus DC book because it was all about voting. Just saying. But yeah, he can't die. You know, the man can't die. He cannot die. Like I said, heaven and hell don't want him. So they left him here. Let him rot on Earth or on the living playing field. You know, do I still want to see Lobo brought to the big screen? Or yeah, I still feel that there's still time for him to be more exposed. But he, like I said, you know, Lobo has always been an anti-hero. He walks that path, and people need to realize that. Because at the end of the day, the main man, if he comes after you, just pray that he's in a good mood. Trust me. Trust me. Now, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is my list of my top 10 favorite anti-heroes in comic book history, I know there's probably people, dude, where's Namor? Where's this? Remember, this was a top 10. Those characters were low. I've even seen people put Batman on the list as an anti-hero, you know, and I'm kind of may have to agree with them on a case. But yes, my list, it may be different from yours, as always. That's what makes doing top 10 lists great, because nobody's is always going to be the same. They're different people, different times. Now, if I see someone I'd put Deathstroke up there. Hey, there you go. You could put him. That's your list. This was mine. But in the meantime, I want to thank Jimmy once again. Thank you for your patronage, Jimmy. Thank you. This was fun to do. I had a lot of fun. Completed one of your second round questions, and I got 3 more left for you, and they'll be coming soon. But in the meantime, thank you for watching.